We are very excited to have freelance journalist Gina Poulos join our ranks tonight. Gina has been focusing as of late on the project The Lucky Country that highlights the struggles and triumphs of ordinary people of diverse ethnicities in the lucky country. Tonight she brings us renowned economist, politician and academic Yanis Varoufakis, who was brought to worldwide attention for his role in Greece's negotiation with Troika and the historic Ochi vote. Much has been said about that, but we often don't get to understand the history behind the person of these major events. Gina was lucky enough to sit down with Yanis and chat about his affiliations with Australia and much, much more.
Thank you, Yanis, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
You left Greece as an 18-year-old to study in England like many Greek students. You completed a doctorate in economics and got your first academic position at the University of Essex. What prompted you to leave England and travel all the way to Australia?
Thatcherism. 10 years of living under Maggie Thatcher in Britain was an exercise in depression. That was a very depressing period, a period of mass unemployment, of constant cuts in the university. So I lived all my life, both as a student and as an academic, in universities, and the universities were just absolutely miserable. I got a telegram back in the old days of telegrams from the University of Sydney offering me a position completely out of the blue. I had not applied for it and turned it down initially. And then I got a second telegram saying, don't be silly, come for 6 months and if you don't like it, you return, which I did.
Right.
And I stayed.
I'm glad you did. What were your first impressions of Australia?
I loved it. Firstly, the weather. After Cambridge and East Anglia and Essex, I got a small flat in Bondi. And I was commuting between the beach and the university, and I thought, why have I not done this years ago? It was absolutely wonderful. And also Australian, that was 1988. In 1988, under the Labour government at the time, there was an air of progress, of optimism. Multiculturalism was well established at the time. It was a very progressive society at the time.
So tell me about your Australian life. What did you enjoy about living in Australia? And are there any other points to consider in relation to your life in Britain?
Well, what I enjoyed the most was the University of Sydney, the campus. I really loved living there because I would spend most of my day and night on campus. I really enjoyed the campus itself. It was a very pleasant campus. It was nice to be able to look at the city, downtown, from the hill where Sydney University is located, without actually having to go into the city. And then bypassing the city, going to Bondi Beach for a swim. So the combination of my office, the library, cinemas nearby in the Glebe area, Newtown area, downtown, the beach, the gym, the office, the library, the cinema, that was the circuit that ruled my life while I was there.
Do you still follow Australian politics? Any special mentions?
Well, I do try to keep up with the goings on in Australia's political economy. But I find it very depressing to be perusing the news regarding the political shenanigans, the way in which the office of the Prime Minister has been completely denigrated by a series of coups within the party rooms, beginning with the way in which Kevin Rudd was overthrown. And then now it's so difficult to catch up, to keep up with who the Prime Minister is and what the various plots against him or her might be. And it's a political process which is completely meaningless. It's not a clash of ideas, of ideologies, of political priorities, of policies. Here you've got just a clash of personalities, and very ugly personalities at that. Where is Paul Keating? You know, where you know, even people like John Hewson, that used to be a joke back then. I appreciate him now. He was a towering figure compared to the current crop.
Even as the gap divides between the haves and have-nots, well, it widens in Australia, people still feel that class is not destiny in Australia, as it seems to be in Britain and the old world. What do you say to that?
Well, this is a very favourite and well-entrenched illusion that the Australians have about themselves. This idea that Australia is a classless society is one of the national myths.
You don't think that a student or a child from a working class family can break out of that cycle and become successful and I guess change their class?
Not more so than in other countries that don't have this myth. It used to be the case. In the Australia that I knew, up until the 1990s, that was true. So if in the 1970s, especially after the reforms by Gough Whitlam, you managed to get into university from a working class background, you did well. And you could climb on the strength of your own resources and capacities. Now, no. This is, the universities are no longer operating like the springboard that catapult people from one social class to another. You end up with large student debt. The quality of education you get is minuscule compared to what you used to get. And even if you do get it, the deindustrialization of Australian society and the conversion of whole sectors of the economy into rent-seeking, real estate-based, resource-based, a very primitive form of capital accumulation, to put it in economic terms, makes it very difficult for substantial numbers of young people to rise up.
Was Australia once the lucky country for you, and do you believe it still is?
I always thought that this expression is very stupid. No country is lucky. You make your luck. The people of Australia have done an enormous amount of work in that country, and they have done it very well to create a social democracy, to create Medicare, to create a social security system that works much better than in many other parts of the world, especially in Europe. But that wasn't luck. It was hard work. It was hard struggles. It was trade unions fighting for rights. It was women fighting for rights. It was not a matter of luck. It was a matter of hard work and endeavour.
Lastly, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
Well, I would very much like not to have to do politics anymore, and to be able to stay at home and write my books, and give the occasional lecture and go to meetings and have fun. And that's my aspiration. But I very much fear that I will still be in this political arena that is the place for struggling to maintain the vision of a democratic future.
Well, good luck with your new party, and thank you very much for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gina.